In this episode, we meet Lingithembe Ndlovu, who's doing her internship in tour coordinating at Jenman African Safaris, and her mentor is Naila Bikies. This is Empowered, mentored on the job.
My name is Lingithembe Ndlovu. I have studied at Cape Peninsula University of Technology. I started my first year in 2012. The reason why I've decided to start tourism is that I'm someone who has the passion in traveling as well as working with different people. And I realized that tourist management is the only field that can give me that opportunity to meet different people as well as to travel to different Europe countries. I started to plan for my internship soon after my first year when I realized that having a diploma or a degree doesn't mean anything if you doesn't have experience in the industry. And I have decided to focus in getting more of experience in industries than just learning. Therefore, for now, I'm doing my degree, but at the same time, I'm trying to obtain an experience in the different industries.
My name is Katja Kwasdorf, and my title, Product and Marketing Director of the company. Jenman African Safaris was founded in 1993 by Garth Jenman. That's why the name Jenman African Safaris. He's a South African, and he actually founded the company as a guide. So he was running walking safaris to Mana Pools after he managed backpackers in Harare. Then relocated the company to South Africa and started running safaris from Victoria Falls down to Cape Town and taking backpackers along on his tours. And from there he grew it basically as from himself as a guide with one vehicle to what it is today. So today we are running small group safaris all over Southern Africa. So that incorporates South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Mozambique, as well as East Africa. So we have there Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, and Ethiopia, and also Madagascar. We have our own vehicles, our own safari vehicles. We also build our own safari vehicles. So we purchase a certain type of vehicles, which we then make suitable 4x4 vehicles so our clients can travel in comfort and also change them constantly. That is one big aspect about the company. Whatever travel we offer, every year we look at the client's feedback, our guest feedback, and then make sure we improve our vehicles, our tours, everything that we run. We also run tailor-made travels, so any traveler or guest can come to us and say, I would like to have a family holiday, I would like to go to Namibia, and we just package it together with their family or with their friends. Additionally, in 2013, we acquired our first lodge in Wangi National Park actually, and have founded a separate company called African Luxury Hideaways, which is also part of Jenman African Safaris. And there we are developing luxury eco lodges. Very, very big on the eco side and sustainable tourism side, especially on this part of the business, but obviously also on the Jenman African Safaris side.
My name is Naila Bikies. Jenman Safaris' philosophy on providing interns with our internship program is to give them a good understanding of what we actually do within our tourism company. So they get exposure to different departments and specialize in what they have studied. So they get an overall sense of the different departments and how we work in the company as a whole. We're trying to give interns, like students fresh out of college, the opportunity to get exposure to the working environment as well. So they get that exposure and practical experience within the tourism industry.
Internships have always been a great part of the company. From when the company had only 3 staff to today, where we in the head office alone in Cape Town have 60 staff. We do have another office in Victoria Falls where we have 10 staff, one in Botswana with a couple of staff, and also in East Africa and Arusha as well, obviously as in Madagascar. In each of the offices we employ interns. Interns are local interns as well as international interns. International interns help with providing language facilities in order to provide our German guests or our French guests with material in their own language. Then local interns are employed in the company as a career growth path. What we like to provide, we like to give students or graduates the opportunity to test their skills, to come into the company, get to know what the real working environment is about, because we all know it is very different to what our professors and also parents and everyone else tells you it is about. Get a feel what it is going to a job for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and having to meet deadlines and deliver for someone else besides just yourself and your lecturer. And if people or if interns exceed expectations within the company and there are openings, there's very often that they're actually being moved into permanent positions within the company.
I feel that it's a great opportunity that I've obtained at Jenman Safaris to maximize my abilities in such a big company with a well-motivated and professional staff. My responsibilities here at Jenman Safaris is to make bookings, submit invoices, vouchering, set up itineraries, as well as sending the request to the suppliers. The clients, they send like emails to the consultant, and the consultant, you have to send through those emails to me so that I'll know what the people they want, and I have to plan for them like the itinerary. What I'm doing right now at Jenman Safaris, it partially matches what I was thinking before I came here, because I applied to work under reservations because I wanted to make bookings. It's the same with what I was thinking before, but it's different in the sense that I'm not working direct with the clients like what I was thinking before. In this case, I'm working direct with the consultant, and the consultant are the ones who are working with the clients. Well, I can say yes, I had some of the researches. I had some people that recommended me, but at the first, I've been going on the net searching about different types of companies such as travel agents and tour operating companies. And last, I realized that my passion is more developing in a tour operating company than in other companies. I saw their adverts on the internet. They were having different positions for the interns, and then I just applied.
Well, firstly, we obviously look at their CVs, make sure they have a career path already selected for them. They have good matric results or A-level results. They have started studying or even finished studying already. Then they are being called to have a telephonic interview just to assess how are their interpersonal skills. Can they talk on the phone? Do they speak clearly? Can they communicate? Can they express themselves? And then going to a short little interview where basically the manager, the future manager would interview the intern, describe the jobs, and finds out less about the skills or what they bring towards the company, but more about the fit. Do we see this person fit into the company? Again, communication skills, really, really important. Are they willing to work hard? Do they have the right ethics to join this very international team? Yeah, and then they get a short little test to test their writing skills, their Excel skills, and basic computer skills to make sure we can actually sit them behind a desk and they can help wherever we need help.
The challenges that are facing graduates in today's times is to get a job or even an internship with little or no experience. Some internships want you to have some basic experience at least, and I mean, to get an internship you need to have experience. So it's actually difficult to get into the job market. And now you come fresh out of college and you're expecting to get a job and you can't find anything. Some people sit at home for even up to a year or longer, where you can't get a job with no experience, and it actually makes it very, very difficult.
The main challenge that my friends are facing in regards to employment is that there is high rate of unemployment. Therefore, in order to secure the job, you should be outstanding, or you should have something that can differentiate you from the rest, because the opportunities are very limited. The first challenge that I faced when I was looking for my internship is that most companies, they were expecting for someone who once worked before or who has the experience in a similar field, while I didn't work before. And the other challenge is that most companies, they expect someone who has his or her own transport, while I was using a public transport.
Challenges that students face when entering the job market are, number one, we always see that, especially in the tourism industry, are salary expectations and living expenses. We all know that, especially in Cape Town, it is a very expensive city to live in. Salaries, especially as the entry levels are low, and especially in tourism are low. We always strive to pay our employees accordingly to their skills, to their dedication, but that has to be proven to a company as well. So when we are taking on new people into the company, it's hard for us to know. On paper they look good. On the 1-hour interview we've done, they worked out well, the tests worked out well, but really only after someone has been with you for 3 months do you know, do they really fit into the company, do they work out well. Only after a year can you really judge the dedication of an employee to the company. One of the biggest challenges is probably trying to impress your employer, but it can be done. Simple by, again, good communication. Do your work on time. If you can't do it on time, communicate about it. Again, we are all just human beings. I know, or I also see from a lot of youngsters joining us in the company, just the fact to actually start going for an 8-to-5 job, that is a big challenge and a big change. But also a lot of people look forward to it. So we see a lot of people being extremely excited coming to the job. Other challenges is probably living with criticism. It's probably one of, besides having a lecturer mark your note and you get your test results back, but you don't really have to talk to him about your test results. Now you're being constantly supervised and maybe criticized on something that you thought you did very well. So I would think, depending on the personality, that can also be quite a big challenge.
Yes, I would encourage other graduates to do internship, because I'm viewing it as an opportunity to gain experience and exposure in the work field. And internships are a proven way to gain skills, knowledge, while establishing different connections in the industries. And the other reason I can say it is important to have an internship, because that's the opportunity to realize which position is the best for you in the industry.
There is a disconnect between what is taught in the university and what is expected in the workplace. Because a lot of students, they are taught theory and what is, like on paper, what they need to know. When you come into the workplace, you need to be able to communicate properly. They're not taught that skills and how to act in the working environment, and like being punctual and basic things, like even in an interview, they're not taught that how to present themselves. So there is a big disconnect between that. I think that they should actually, in colleges, be taught, there should be a time set aside where they actually taught that gap, like what is actually expected in the work. I mean, it's little things like the skills that they need to have. And I mean, it doesn't take a lot of time, it's just explaining to them what is expected in the workplace, because it's not taught. And I mean, a lot of them struggle because they're just trying to fit in, but they don't actually realize how they should communicate.
There's always the question about whether there is a connection or a disconnect between the lecture room or the studies someone's enrolled in and the actual work environment. We see it very often that there is a disconnection, be it on an international basis as well as local South African basis. Internationally, we have the problem that interns often expect to almost be moved into a management role immediately. They're almost being told by their lecturers and professors, please, you need to be in project management, you need to make sure you get handed a project and finish it. That is almost impossible. I mean, we all know whether you're new at it, even if you're coming from already had a job and join a company, you need training time, people need to see where are your skills, where are your what do you do well, where are your weaknesses, where can we use you, and what do you bring to the company. Now, coming from a lecture room, people first have to adjust to the fact I need to be here for a certain amount of hours a day, I need to constantly report to somebody, and somebody is actually constantly looking over my shoulder and checking what I'm doing. Also, lecture room studies, social media becomes a problem within the company, or not a problem, but just the usage of social media. We see it a lot. Our interns don't see a problem of going on a personal website, booking movie tickets, checking in on Facebook, on Twitter, and then everything they like. And it becomes hard for us managers to also just say, listen, this is the policy, you can't do that. which also resulted in us writing actually company policies on all of that. Private internet usage, cell phone usage, attending office meetings, being on time for meetings. So now when an intern joins us, he has to read all the policies, agree with them, sign that he's read it, and then obviously slowly we try and introduce them. We know it's hard. We've all been students before. We've all had the freedom of actually doing what we wanted to do and when we wanted to do it. So we try to be easy on them, but then after a couple of weeks, when we know you have been advised, this is the rules, that's what you have to do. People get taught the basics, which is great, but often the big picture thinking has to be developed, and the communication has to be developed, and that people can basically put one and one together and say, okay, this is what the effect it is going to have in my work environment. Especially in tourism, we don't just work with on a certain project. Whatever we work on affects the traveler. So we need to do everything that we do with the traveler's mind as number first priority. So that's what I mean with big picture thinking, that you don't just think about your desk and the work that's on your desk, but actually what is the result, and is the person that is going to go on that holiday, is he going to be happy with that result? So yeah, I mean that's basically where I not really see a disconnect, but more that is something that interns really have to be aware that is the biggest challenge when they come into a company and start an internship or their first employment.
My opinion about this is that you might not be able to maximize your abilities, because I'm thinking that we study theory in order to apply it as a practical in the industry. So if you do something that we have studied, it gives you an opportunity to maximize your capability in doing something than starting something from the top. Like doing something you have studied, it's like starting something from the ground, from the scratch. It's easier to apply what you have learned before.
Just keep applying, and not only applying for something in your field, because a lot of the times you just apply in that field and you can't. Maybe something similar then, or something in a different direction, that you can just get that exposure, because once you get into a working environment, you can always build on that and grow.
I wouldn't say there is such thing as an intern making a mistake. We all, we're all learning, we are all developing. I would again just say it's what expectations did an intern have when they started in the company. I would rephrase that question, or I would say, how should an intern better prepare for your internship or for your interview? So don't choose the first internship that gets offered to you. Prepare yourself as if it's a first job interview. Go learn about the company. Decide, is this where you can see yourself grow? Because be assured that a company is looking for interns, not for cheap work or cheap labor. They're looking for interns because they want to grow staff. They want to mold the staff to where they need employees to be. Prepare yourself for the interview. Make sure the company you're joining, the ethics fits, and look around. So ask, when you come for the interview, ask, can I have a look through your offices? Get the manager who interviews you to introduce you to a couple of people, or just show you the different departments and get a feel of whether you can be comfortable here and can be comfortable with the people. Remember, you're going to be with those people for 8, 9, 10 hours a day.
The challenges I faced when I was trying to get an internship, actually. I needed an internship to finish my diploma, and I was searching for months and I could not find anything. So for me it was very difficult to even find an internship or just any working experience to get practical experience within the workplace. I just kept applying and even offering to do it for free. And then finally I got an interview, and I came for the interview and then was successful.
I'm originally from Germany. I studied tourism management in Germany, and within my studies it is you have to do an internship. So I did apply for an internship. I knew I didn't want to stay in Germany or in Europe. I knew I wanted to go overseas, and a friend of mine just said she's going to Cape Town. I'd never even heard of Cape Town. Didn't know. I knew it was in Africa, but that was about it. Very bad for a tourism student. You should know your geography. And then, I applied for a couple of options, and then I applied here at Jenman, and Jenman said, yes, come. And then I said, okay, cool, I'll come. They didn't ask for a CV or anything. That has changed. They do ask for CVs now. And I joined. I was supposed to do 4 months. I extended it to 8 months because I liked it so much. And then I went back home, continued my studies, came back to Cape Town, as a lot of the Germans do, and did just a project work with Garth. I finished one of his brochures. That was in 2012. And then he said, I would like you to manage my German marketing for me. And I was like, oof, in Germany I know when I finish my studies, all I'm going to do is another unpaid internship. So let me go, do 2 years of experience in the company, then go back to Germany, be the hotshot, having Africa experience and all that. So that was the plan. Went back to Germany, finished my studies, came here, and yeah, joined the company and then just grew with it, really. And it's from having a small market to myself, taking over more of the marketing and the product, and enjoying the job, really enjoying the company. What I love most about working here is that it's never stagnant, and that is, I think, also the reason why it kept me here for now 10 years. That when I joined, we were 3 people in one office. Today we are 60 people in the main office, and as I mentioned earlier, have offices throughout Southern Africa and East Africa and Madagascar.
I try to make sure that I manage my time well. Like, time management is very important. I have to plan my day to know that at this specific time I have to do this and this, and I make sure that I have to be there on time. Like, I'm very punctual every time. If I was supposed to be here at 7, by 5 to 7 I make sure that I'll be here starting to prepare for my day. And I'm a good team player because we work as a team, and we have to make sure that you are able to work with your colleagues. I'm finding my mentor very helpful because every time if I have a question or if I'm not understanding something, I go to her and she's willing to help me most of the time. Working at Jenman Safaris so far, I'm feeling that is the best decision that I made in my life because I'm doing something that I have passion with. I once tried to work in a hotel. It was 6 months, but I didn't finish. I only worked 1 month because I realized that it's not my field. But when I came to Jenman, it's now more than 1 month when I'm here. I'm enjoying everything that I'm doing because I have a passion with everything that I'm doing.
So where this internship path leads to is you first get to know what does it mean booking a hotel accommodation, booking a transfer. So you support your sales consultant that way, or first you support your coordinator that does that. Then you move into that role of a coordinator to be the first-hand support of the salesperson, which then can see you move into a sales position. Once you're in a sales position, you deal directly with the customer or with an agent booking a holiday with you. So you get to know a lot of the products, accommodation, activity offers that are on offer in Southern Africa. So you do your client liaison and you deal with the supplier, and from there you quickly can grow into managing your own accounts, or people move into marketing or into product management roles, where they then, once they have a lot of knowledge on Southern Africa or on a certain country, they become the ones negotiating rates with the suppliers, deciding on which product a company should offer, and that forth. So it is a nice, really entry level into all sorts of areas within the company.
We see more of employees exceeding expectations with our permanent staff more than with our interns, because they are still finding their feet when they're starting with us, so they're a bit more timid and shy, so they're just trying to fit in more than actually trying to excel. And a lot with young people, they're still very relaxed and not taking things seriously, whereas permanent staff, you know, you're getting employed to do that specific job to get your salary at the end of the month, so you need to perform. Advice I would give to interns is to communicate well and to actually speak to your mentor if you're not sure about something, to actually ask as many questions as you can, because that's how you learn. That was very important for me, because that's how I gained so much knowledge in asking, why is this so, why is that so? Just for someone to explain to me, you get a better understanding, and for them to learn as much as they can. Just take in all the knowledge from all the different departments and from everyone, just to get that better understanding of the practical experience within a working environment.
My long-term plan for now is to be a successful person throughout my internship in order to secure a job in a tour operating company, might be Jenman Safaris or any other similar company.